All right, again, welcome everybody. I've put the sign in to today's session in the chat box. I'm going to have it there if someone comes in and I miss it. If you guys would be so kind and retype or copy and paste that sign in so that we make sure that everyone gets credit for being here. But again, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to be looking at Google Search for Education, and we're going to be looking at ways that you can use it in your classroom. Um, uh, some ways more specifically though, just to improve your life as an educator, how to really understand the way that the search engine works a little bit better. Maybe not the way that it works, but the way that you can use it to help you, not just in class but outside of class as well. So we're gonna be doing this on the agenda today. We're going to look at just searching on a web page. We get a few questions about this every now and then, and there's a very, very easy solution for this. We're going to look at searching inside of Google Docs and inside of Google Slides, and the tools that are available to you there. We're going to look at search operators, and we'll get into specifics on what that is, but there are things that can help you define your search a little bit more closely inside of Gmail, Drive, and Google Search that will help you out here. And then we're going to look at a few programs. One's called Google Scholar, one is called a Google a Day, and then the last one is Search Lesson Plans. And what I mean by that is not that we're going to search for random lesson plans. There is specific lesson plans that are built for search. And so we're going to take a look at those. So again, welcome to today. Make sure that you have signed in to today's session. And I'm going to change my what I am sharing so that we can see everything. All right, and for those that came in a little bit later, yep, here you go, Arlene. There is the sign-in sheet. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling a few things in and out today. I kind of try to say this at all times. I won't be looking inside of the Google Meet. So if you have any questions that I'm not answering, or if I'm explaining something that is not on your screen and because I'm looking at it at the wrong spot, don't let me go forever. Let me know that Stephen, I don't know what the heck you're looking at, or that you need to be more specific. I am going to go ahead and turn on the Q&A for this session, but you can ask questions in there. You can also ask them in the chat. I'll be checking both spots. But don't hesitate to unmute yourself, interrupt me. It's not going to bother me at all. I'd rather it happen, especially if I am out in left field and you're not sure what's going on. All right. So let's start off with some of the easiest stuff that might just save your day starting off. So the first thing on our agenda, I guess, is searching on a web page itself. And so I have brought in a Newsela article, and if you have never used Newsela, it's an amazing website, and in fact, probably. Obviously not next Wednesday, because I'm going to be, and everyone will be not doing any work for a week. But the weekend after that, or the week after that, I'm going to be probably doing a deeper dive into Newsela. But this is just as an example. Newsela is a great website for ELA as a supplemental addition to your class. And so we have a question here, or we have an article here, dozing after Thanksgiving dinner, don't blame the bird. And so fun little article that you would be able to send out to your students. What I like about Newsela, just not to get into too much into it, you can change the reading level of Newsela. So it's on the max right now, but if you wanted to set it, to a second grade reading level, then you could do that. And it makes it a lot easier to work through, right? So, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to this section, and so if I open up the activities and look at the quiz, one of the questions here, for example, uses the word tryptophan, and so I might want to search this entire article for the word tryptophan. And so this isn't the longest article in the world, but you can imagine the usefulness of this, especially if you're looking for a specific phrase or a specific word in an incredibly long website. And there is a keyboard shortcut for this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Control and F at the same time. So I'm going to push Control, and then I'm going to hit the word F. And right up here at the top, you can see that I've actually already started searching for it. But right here at the top, tryptophan, I can start typing that. And as I do that, you can see that it takes me to the first instance of that word inside of the article. And if I click the down arrow, it'll take me to the other instances of that. And it highlights in yellow so that I can find them more easily. So Control F is the quick way to search whenever you're inside of a website. That keyboard command also works if you're inside of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office. It's kind of the keyboard shortcut to get around, and it's not just limited to PC. It's also useful on Chromebooks and on Macs. It's kind of like the universal find command. So that's always one of those that is if you didn't know it, it's kind of a lifesaver sometimes. So I'm happy to be able to show it. But you're not limited just to one words. So if I put turkey in here, then I can see that there's 12 instances of that. But maybe I want to be a little bit more specific, and then not that I would necessarily do this, but I want to highlight turkey makes. I can continue writing, and now the turkey makes. Now you can see that there are 3 instances of that happening. So anything that is put in here will show up, but it has to be exactly as it's put in there. So if I put those 2 words together, you can see that it found 0. So it is specific on what it's looking for. It's not a super smart search, but it is very, very effective. So if you're in a website, that is how you can find different words. All right. The next thing I have is inside of Google Docs. So I've kind of done the same thing here. I'm going to bring over a vocabulary list that I had created when we did a training over one of the extensions. What is that extension called? Read and Write. And so I used Read and Write to create this vocabulary list for me. Now I'm going to do Control F just to kind of show that I can now find in a document. And what's nice about this is that I'm actually given a little bit more options. I can use this to find and replace now, which is the same what you see whenever you're inside a Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word file. So I can do a little bit more specific searching. But that's not what I wanted to show you here, because that again, that's the same as looking through a website. So up here at the top, some of the tools that are available to you, I believe it's in tools. I might be in the wrong spot. Here we go. You also have an Explore button that is right inside of here. So if I click on Explore, now I'm given the ability to do a little bit deeper dive into the search, not just on this page, but you can see that it will also explore different documents that I have inside of my Google Drive, as well as just on the web in general. So contributing is a word that appears here. So I'm going to go ahead and contributing and go ahead and search for that. And you can see that it actually breaks this down into multiple sections here. So I can see that there's a web search over contributing. I can do an image search over contributing. And then here's a drive search over contributing. And it looks like these are I see documents, I see videos, I see PowerPoints or slide decks, I see docs, PDFs. It searches everything, and you can find it there. So this Explore tab is incredibly useful inside of Docs. Now I came up here to find it. I believe under Tools and Explore, but it's also right here at the bottom. So you don't have to search for it in any way. You can just click on the Explore tab, and it's going to bring it up right there at the top. So it is very easy to find. You don't have to show your kids, different sections to go to. Just have them look at the bottom right, and it'll be there for you. Okay, this same tool is, and I didn't bring up a slide deck, but I'll make one. The same tool is available if you're inside of Google Slides. So here's the Explore tab inside of Google Slides. It does look a little bit different because here it's going to give you layouts first. It's thinking that maybe you want to change the layout. So it's kind of like a smart type thing, but I can search for contributing, and I'm going to get the same information in the same documents that it showed earlier. Okay. Now, inside of this as well, inside of Slides and inside of Docs, anytime I do an insert, I can also search from the web from right in here as well. So what's nice about Google Docs and Google Slides is everything's kind of built into the Google environment. And so if you are looking to search to bring in items, if you click search in here, you're not sending your students, for example, out to a different spot. And so if I search for example, Mickey Mouse, then I can insert a picture of Mickey Mouse right in here with no problem. So quick way to search without having to leave the documents that you're in. All right, so I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to take a look. Any Q&A, any questions about just searching on a web, searching on Google Drive, in Docs, in Docs or Slides before we head on to the next little section? All right. Let me go ahead and insert that picture of Mickey Mouse. There we go. He's ready to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close these up. And again, if you have any questions as we go through, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself and ask. I think I'm good with that now. Next thing I want to look at is search operators. And this is where hopefully your life starts to get a little bit easier as well. Search operators, it's one thing to search for something, whether it be inside of Google, inside of Gmail, or inside of Drive when you're trying to look for something. But even then, especially if you have lived in that atmosphere, if you have thousands, hundreds of thousands of emails that have gone through your inbox, sometimes even a search won't narrow it down in any way. And so we can use search operators to kind of narrow down or define even further the searches that we can do. And as an example, if I'm doing a Google search, here are a few of the different operators that you can use. So for example, if I were to search the entire web for a math problem, I'm going to get results from hundreds of thousands of different areas of the web. But you can define it just a little bit more by putting this cite button, or this cite operator, before the rest of your search. And so I want to look at that. So I'm going to go to google.com, and I'm going to search for second grade math worksheet. All right, so you can see that I have 53,700,000 results that came up. That's a little bit beyond where I feel comfortable going through everything, right? But maybe, and I'm just picking something out. Maybe I really love this greatschools.org. And so what I can do is define this, and I can put cite greatschools.org. And now it's going to define my search into only the greatschools.org. So if there are things that I absolutely love from greatschools.org, now I can define that search. And now I'm only given 12,300 results. So, I could go through that in just a few minutes, right? And I could define this even further using a few more of these operators. The good news is that even though these operators are here, and I give them to you as an image, I am gonna show you how to find this later. There used to be a document that housed all of these, but they are no longer here. That document's no longer there. But I'm going to show you a way to get to it. But you can do things like file type. If you want to find definitions for a word, if you put define in front of it, it will define that word, and so forth and so on. And so I'll kind of let you to look at that here in a minute. But you don't have to remember all of those operators because Google has built into it these tools right here that will, it might be in the settings. Let's see, advanced search. The advanced search is basically like putting these operators to use without you having to remember it. So you can see that the last search that I did, it has all these words, second grade math worksheets. And it searched only the site greatschools.org. Now I could define it even more, but one of the ones that I like the most is this file type right here. I can change the file type to only show PDF or only show, there's quite a few different programs that I could search for. The one that I search the most for, obviously, is PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and search for PDF. And now it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do second grade worksheets at greatschools.org, but now it's only going to do PDF. So I'm going to do that advanced search. And so now I'm only down to 138 results. So I went from 12 million, I believe the number was, down to 138 results just by making sure that I am being more specific with my search. And
Steven?
so yes.
How did you find the advanced search again?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's on tools. If I'm on Google, it's on tools.
Okay.
No, excuse me. I always get those backwards. It's on settings and then advanced search.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Now there also is buttons for, obviously showing explicit results or hiding explicit results, because we have because we're on a school owned account, safe search, and you can see this right over on the top right. Safe search is always going to be on, which is obviously very, very helpful. But if you are searching on a PC at home, and it's probably a good idea to make sure that your safe search is on and that your explicit results is off, so that whenever you're doing your search, you're only getting the things that you want to have on there. Again, going into settings, advanced search will help you do that. So in addition to these specific, I should say it like this. Whenever I search for this, it searched for all of these words. So it needed to have second grade math worksheets. It didn't matter what order that it was in. But if I wanted it to be exactly that, so I could instead put that right here, and it's only going to show me second grade. It has to be exactly second grade math worksheets. And my guess is this is not going to bring up anything. No, it says there are no results. So I actually got it down to 0 because I was too specific with what I was searching for. And so what this is telling me is, yeah, you were a little bit too much. You might want to take the quotations off. And you can notice up here at my search, even though I used that tool, what it did was it added the operator for me, and it added the quotation marks. So I can take those quotation marks off. I don't have to go back into my advanced search. I can do all of it if I know the operators, and I can click enter, and now I'm back to my 138 results instead. So the advanced search is incredibly powerful, and especially if you're like me, whenever you're looking for some supplemental work that or ideas for math questions or something like that, and you want a PDF, either you can remember to put file type PDF, but I can usually never remember exactly how to type it in. You can just click on the advanced search and get to it from there. So those operators are very good, but they are not just limited inside of Google search. Are there any questions about that before I head over to, because I'm going to show operators inside of Drive and Gmail. Are there any questions before I, do you need the colon? Yes, you do. And you do not put a space after the colon either. So it has to be exactly as it's written. Okay, keeping going here. Those operators again are also the same for Gmail. So I'm going to bring in my Gmail, and I'm always given the look of what the heck is wrong with you? Why do you only have 6 emails or whatever the case is? And so I always like to explain this first. So I like to, a few years ago I read a book from David Allen called Getting Things Done. If you have read those books, they're amazing. If I should say, if you haven't read those books, you're amazing. If you are one like I was that could never get things done the way that I wanted to, this was a great help for me. But this is the Getting Things Done, basically the workflow, and I use this as something it's called Inbox Zero, and I try to get to zero at the end of the day. And that doesn't mean that I've taken care of every little thing that I should have taken care of, but I've at least addressed the things that need to get done. And so, so I have very few things here, but that's okay if you do or you don't have a lot of things here. One of the things that you can do, though, and it's one of the things that I like to show family and everything like that, is to use the search feature up here. You are not limited to just the things that you see here. One of the things I kind of show my family and anyone who will listen to me screaming from the corner is type in unsubscribe here. And it will show you, well, it helps if you spell it right, by the way, guys. And it will show you all of the things inside of your email that include the word unsubscribe in there. And why is that important? Well, that's important because the word unsubscribe probably is going to appear on those spam emails that you get. And so if you are sitting here and I'm going a little too slow for you, clean up your inbox just typing unsubscribe in there. But I'm, again, as I said, I'm not limited to items that are on here. Just the ones that appear on this down arrow. So I'm going to share this link. And in fact, I'm going to share, I have a few links today that I'm going to share. And so I put them all onto a Google Doc. And so I'm going to share that entire Google Doc with you. And when you open it, it's going to ask you to make a copy. So you'll click make a copy. And then this becomes your document entirely. So if you want to take notes on it or write on it, delete it, that's fine. It's all right. But this is going to be your document. And so here's some search operators that appear inside of Gmail as the very first link. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And this is a support page from Google that lists all of the operators that appear. And again, you can get to most of these by clicking the down arrow, but you can't get to all of them, which is a little bit frustrating. And so we're not going to go over every single one of these, but I'm just going to show you a few examples of how you might clean up your inbox or find the things that you need to find whenever you are inside of your inbox. I seem to have lost my inbox. There it is. All right, so so I have unsubscribe here, but I'm noticing that that I have some things here from Mandy, and I have some things here from let's see, Julia, who I need to get back to about a few things. And so I want to be more specific, and I want to do something where I have labeled basically all of the things that I need to keep. And so maybe not all of them, but I can search by a specific label. So for example, if I put a label named unread, now it's going to bring up everything in my inbox, not just my inbox, but it's going to bring up everything that is in my Google Gmail that includes the words unsubscribe and that I have not read. Now, most of these things really are things that I don't care about. And so I see this thing from NASCO. So I am going to even define my search even further by putting NASCO in there. So now it's unsubscribed. It's anything that I have not yet read that includes the word NASCO. And so now I've defined it pretty well. It's all of these NASCO, NASCO for education. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is if I wanted to, I can come in here and I can you notice that it puts NASCO in yellow, it puts unsubscribe in yellow. I want to unsubscribe from this. And so I am getting too many emails, so I'm going to unsubscribe. So now I will no longer get any more emails from NASCO, but that doesn't mean that all of these emails are gone. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a checkbox next to all of them. If I had more than 100, it would say you have more than 100. Would you like to put a checkbox next to all of them? And you could either say yes or no. But now that I've done this, I can delete all of those from NASCO. And now I don't have any more. All of those from NASCO are gone. And I can continue to work through there. Now, this shows me the label that's unread, but let's go without that label. and go back, and you'll notice that maybe I want, like, for example, these, here is a label, here's my inbox, and here's a label that I have for Google for Education Certified Trainers, and you can see that it appears there. Here's a label I have for newsletters. These are things that I want to keep. I can, instead of searching for labels, I can, and it's kind of like using math, I'm going to subtract anything that has the label, that has a label. So anything with GFE, Certified Educators, now you're going to see this email completely disappear because I put the negative sign next to the label. And so now that went away. And I can do the same thing with inbox. So I can say, maybe I don't want the label that is inbox. And so now that one went away. And you know what? Mandy is someone who might send me something. So I want to subtract anything that is from Mandy Morgan. And whenever I search for that, now, uh-oh, is that not from, oh, that's actually from Gmail. So it is actually a thing that I don't really need in my inbox. So instead of putting from, I'm going to just put her name. And no, it's still showing up. But she didn't send that. It's an automated email from Gmail, so that's why it's not going away. And so now I'm getting a little bit more into the bulk of the things that are inside of my my address. But you'll notice that this is a lot of stuff here. And you'll notice that my inbox doesn't have very much stuff because my search, when you do a search, it searches everything except for your trash, and you could actually make it to where it does include your trash. So if you are one with thousands of emails, what I would recommend doing is I would put in the inbox, and then the any search that you do from here on out, unsubscribe. Let's see, did I spell it right this time? Probably did, but I don't have anything in my inbox that has unsubscribe. Maybe I want to bring up anything from Anita that's only inside of my inbox, and I can start searching in that way. So these search operators that you see here will help you really, really get down into the nitty-gritty of what's happening inside of your inbox or your entire Gmail. And it can help you clean out your inbox and make you feel fresh and new. So I would recommend it for those of you who have an incredibly lot of emails to work through. Okay. Now the same thing can be applied if I head over to my Gmail, my Drive, except that it is a little bit, most of the options are included in here. So you can't do literally every single thing that you would be able to do inside of Gmail. You can't do everything inside of Drive as well. But to me, this is a lot more user-friendly. There's less stuff that I have to remember. So maybe I search for, and I got here just by, again, clicking on the down arrow next to that search. And I want to search for any PDFs that is owned by, let's go with Anita Chavez. And I can even search for only in a specific location, but I'm going to look for PDFs owned by Anita Chavez, and I'm going to click search. And now this is pretty manageable, and it's going to search throughout my entire drive. So no matter where I put it, if you are not the best file organizer, then you need to be a really good search person, because if you don't have one, you need to have the other for it to work. So I have now only, let's see, how many is this? 15 PDFs that, you know what, I know that Anita sent me that. I just don't remember where I put it. Well, here it is. And if I wanted to, you notice whenever I click on it, it actually gives me the location. Now, most of these are going to be in the shared with me document or a location. But if I just did a search for all PDFs inside of my drive, doesn't matter who the owner is, then by looking down here at the bottom, I can see the exact location of these of this file. Now, just like I did before, you notice I'm getting a lot of copy of reading. Now that's because I have access to the lesson bank, and so all of those searches are going to appear here. So maybe I want to take off anything that has the word copy. And so now it's looking for, now this is trimmed down. Maybe I want to also get rid of anything that has the word Cami in it. So I can put the subtraction sign next to Cami, and now it's even further down. So again, those operators are very useful. Now I have put inside of this, the education links that I had you open, here's the search operators for Drive. And I have noticed, that I don't know if this is an older document. I don't think it's that old, but I noticed a few of these may not work the way that they did before. So I tried the or and the and those did not work as expected. But the from, to, an owner, whether it is starred, a certain file type, all of these did work. So you have those for you. So let's see, any questions? We're about 30 minutes in, and I want to get to the other stuff before we go. Are there any questions that I haven't, that have come up that I haven't addressed yet? I feel like I need to take a little bit of a break too. I've been talking a lot. All right, you guys are quiet today. So here we go. Very informative. Well, thank you, Elena. The search operators, the files, again, I sent those to you, but for the most part, again, they're built in, so you don't really have to memorize them. If you use them a lot, you might get to the point where you are memorizing them, but there you go. So how can you might use this in the classroom? And so if you click on the next one down, it's Google Scholar. And Google Scholar is very, very nice because it's going to be built, especially for those ELA classes that are doing, research projects or something like that. You don't want them going to just any website. You really want to narrow down those searches, not just for yourself whenever you're looking something up, but for your students as well. This is going to limit the searches to scholarly articles that come up along the way. So maybe I want to look for digital learning. And whenever I search, you'll notice that it is not just searching for anything. So there's still 3 million search results that have come up. But these are now, they're not just from, meandmyhomies.com or whatever, right? It's built on studies and stuff like that. And you can refine this not nearly as well as just a regular Google search, but you can refine them. For example, maybe you only want articles since 2019. And so now I'm down to 172,000 articles. So, if I search for a scholarly article, but it's 20 years old on digital learning, that's not useful to me anymore. And so I can do a little bit of those. Now, what I can also do is create an alert. I've never set this up, but if you create an alert, what it does is anytime an article with the title Digital Learning pops up, it will email you the alert for that. And so if you are, if you're currently doing a big research project, maybe you're going for your doctorate and you're working on it through a certain scope or a certain lens, then you might set up an alert to be to let you know that something that you would find very useful has popped up recently. And so you can create that result. I do not want to create that result right now. Again, there was 172 just since 2019. So I don't want to create that result. And you might want to make sure that you're, if you're getting too many of these, to narrow down that search just a little bit more. But there you go. And so I can go to any of these and let's see, here's a PDF here. And so whenever I click on it here, I'm given the PDF, a scholarly article over, leveraging digital technology for better learning. That seems something that would be useful at this time of our lives, right? So Google Scholar is very, very nice. You can narrow down the search over here as well. You can search just for case law. Oh, there is an advanced search. I didn't see that before. There you go. So there you go. You can look for exact phrases. They hid that in a different spot. So you can anywhere in the article or only in the title of the article. And then if you are looking for specific authors or a publisher, or a specific date. So there's your advanced search. A little bit less information there, but it's more geared towards the scholarly article side. And I got there by clicking on the hamburger menu on the top left there. Okay. Yes, and here is basically the metrics of how often these are being searched for and how often they're being indexed if you're a super nerd and you're into that type of stuff. So any questions about Google Scholar? All right. Has anyone used Google Scholar before? I used it one time whenever I was teaching. I'm just curious if anyone had used it before. Let me know. Next thing, you're going to have to participate on this one, so I apologize for you guys. The next one is, it's called a Google a Day. And I have shared that on this document, a Google a Day, but we are going to watch the video for this first. So I need to change my share settings here, my presentation settings, sorry. Here we go.
A Google a Day provides daily trivia questions on a variety of subjects. Solving these questions is a fun and engaging way to teach students important online research skills. Let's take a look at how to use a Google a Day in your classroom with an example from south of the border.
Tenochtitlan.
A Google a Day questions are starting points for exploration with just enough material to get an active mind going. After answering these questions, there are many directions in which to go for deeper exploration on any topic. The mini lessons we put together are filled with ideas on using search to engage your class with the subjects you teach every day. Download one today and see where a Google a Day can take your class.
All right, so it's a little fun thing, and I won't lie, this is geared quite a bit, more towards the a little bit older crowd. It doesn't mean you couldn't find something useful in there for the younger ones, but if you could, and I'm going to go ahead and share the link. If you could all go to a Google a Day, let me share the right link there. So it's agoogleaday.com, and when you go there, you're going to click the Start Playing button, and I'm going to give you just a few minutes to kind of play around with it. What you do is when you click Start Playing, you are going to be given a question, and as soon as you click Start Playing, the timer goes down. So the quicker you find your answer, the quicker you get your the quicker the timer stops, and you get more points. If you let it go all the way, then you get 0 points. Now you can ask for a hint here, and you can show the first letter, so it does give you a little bit more information. But whenever you get your correct answer, you will type it in here and click go, and it will either tell you whether it's right, it'll paint it a certain color, or it'll tell you it's wrong. So I want to do this for, let's go like 4 minutes. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I'm gonna let you guys just kind of experiment with this Google a Day feature. By the way, does anyone know what the I Feel Lucky button does? Just out of curiosity, if anyone knows what that does. Take yourself off mute and let us know. If any of you finish, tell us how many points you got. You have under 2 minutes left. All right, 20 seconds left. Finish up your Google a day. All right. Let me know how many points you got. I was asking if anyone knows what the I'm feeling lucky button is here. When you do a Google search, obviously, sometimes there's, millions of results that come in. The I'm feeling lucky will take you to the very first one. So if you are confident that you have typed in a good search result and you think the very first one's going to give you the answer that you need, instead of clicking Google search, click the I'm feeling lucky button, and it'll take you to the very first result. I said earlier that there was an image that I had made about the tips and tricks the operators found inside of Google search, and you can find those tips and tricks right here. I wish there was more spots for them, but there's not. So here's the tips and tricks, and you can see the advanced, this is the same image that I got earlier. There's also some calculator functions that are in here in case you are needing to search for sine or cosine. It's also something to be aware of if you are a trigonometry teacher or something, that these items can be found with a simple Google search. Just something to keep in mind. And then there's some more information that you can find along the way. If you click the print tips and tricks, it's going to give you an error, so you can't save it from there. So I apologize. So I hope you guys got a little bit out of that part. The last little bit, and it's actually built into to the Google Scholar button. And so I'm going to copy it in. It is in the item that I sent to you earlier. So this is the Google Search Education, and you can see the Google Day challenges that are here. And so you can actually go back and view previous challenges if you wanted to take a look at them. They're broken up into, culture, geography, history, and so forth. And so you can kind of look at them from there. But there are additional lesson plans that that can be searched for, and they are built for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And so you're going to have to look at the, I'm not sure exactly how low this grade goes, and so you're going to have to kind of look at some of these if you are a younger elementary teacher to know whether or not they're really appropriate. But there are a lesson overview, and so you can kind of take a look at the lesson overview and see what they might have on them. You can also look at the lesson plan map and see exactly what that skill is that they're trying to get the people, the learners to understand a little bit better. And so this is, and it looks like they are using some of the ISTE standards built into this. So it is aligned with, current education standards in certain ways, right? And so that information is can be there. But for example, so here's picking the right search term. If I just click on the beginner lesson for that, it's going to give me a Google slide deck, and it's going to give me, a lesson on how I can teach to my students how does Google search work and how they can become better search engine users and of course that'll help in a lot of different ways. So there you go. Those are all the links I had, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have Brandy Tate, 1,861 points. You're the leader. I don't have a gift for you. I'm sorry. I can throw like a chocolate at the camera, but I don't think it's going to go through cyberspace and get to you, Brandy. I apologize. Yeah, right. So Google searches are, we use Google for Education. We use G Suite for Education, and Google is the backbone behind all of it. So they try to make the search built into every single thing that we do, and we as educators don't really teach that side of things. And so even if you are just getting started yourself inside of there, I really implore you to think about ways that you can use these tools or just the operators, or just teaching your students a little bit about the technology aspect behind what they're doing. So that even if you're not the greatest at it, maybe you're building them up to be much better than you are, and inspiring them in a way to keeping themselves organized in a way. We looked at one of the dummy accounts that we have set up for the district earlier today. It had like 12,000 emails in it, or 1,200 emails, excuse me. And that's an account that's really only been created just a few months ago. That there's really only a few teachers that have gained access to that. And just thinking that we have students in our district with hundreds, if not thousands, of emails themselves. That whenever they really start getting into the email aspect of things, they're going to be overwhelmed. And so if we can start teaching them some of these, tools now, whenever they're just getting started with this, the better it'll be. So anyways, like I said, I hope some of this was beneficial to you. I hope at the least you'll maybe get yourself a little bit more organized, and because that always just makes you feel a little bit better, lifting, that weight off your shoulder of what am I doing on this computer, and especially at this point in the year, whenever you're just ready for that turkey day to come. But so I am 10 minutes early on my time, but I'll go ahead and let you guys go. I'm going to hang out here for a few extra minutes to answer any questions that you have, whether it be about Google search or any other aspect that I can help out. So again, thank you guys for coming. If you did not sign into today's session, I'm going to put that into the chat one more time. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.